The epistle we are given this afternoon comes from what is probably the most erudite, the most philosophical book in the New Testament. It's out there. A lot of metaphor, a lot of analogies. We don't know who wrote the epistle to the Hebrews, but it looks like it may have been somebody who'd been hanging out, if not directly in Alexandria, at least knew a lot of the sort of Hellenized Jews and the Hellenized Jewish Christians who were influenced by what was going on in that city. And in our reading today, we're dropped into the middle of a rather lengthy and sustained argument. But and I'm not even going to try to summarize it all up to this point. It's a marvelous argument, if you can stick with it. But what's nice about where we're dropped in is that we have kind of come to the, if you pardon the pun, the crux of the argument. And I've made it easy for you. I've highlighted it in our bulletin. There are a few highlights there, so you already know what I'm going to say. But what Ethan was talking about in our first meditation is he unpacked the prophetic writing of Isaiah in reference to the Messiah. The author to the epistle of the Hebrews can now look back on historically. Isaiah's prophecy is the anonymous author of Hebrews history. And here is the bottom line. All of the complicated arguments notwithstanding, it comes down to this truth about God, this truth about Jesus, this truth about you and me. It's the first highlight there in your bulletin. We have been made holy. This is a big word. Complete, perfected. Doesn't mean that every one of you is inerrant quite yet, but nevertheless, the process is going in the right direction. We have been made holy through all of your hard work. Thank you, church. Sorry, went off script. We have been made holy through the offering of the body of Jesus once for all. That's what it comes down to. That's what the prophets were about. That's what the disciples of Jesus learned. That's what Jesus was about. To make us holy through the offerings of the body of Jesus once for all. Now, this leaves a whole lot of unanswered questions, and we're not going to deal with those today. Actually, Ethan helped us with some of them. There are all sorts of questions one probably asks. So really, how does this work? Can it work? Does it really work? So many moving parts. It seems complicated. You might have questions about the necessity of sacrifice. It certainly sort of seems a little countercultural to those of us who've grown up in a fairly sterile environment. You might have questions about the legitimacy of substitution. Really, can Jesus, just Jesus, by being a person, stand in for the sins of our entire species? So you might have questions about that. And if not that, I know a lot of people find the whole idea of Jesus' death as a sacrifice for sin. It's kind of unattractive and repulsive and unfashionable and certainly countercultural, with all its bloodiness. God's plan of salvation, as Christians will often refer to it, can seem complicated to some. To others, it seems almost primitive and barbaric. But I think Good Friday is one of the good times, one of many good times, to return to basics. Look at first questions. Now, here's the first question. Does God exist? Now, if God doesn't exist, then this discussion really is we're just spinning wheels and wasting time. If God does exist, you got to figure God is God and not common sense. And if we haven't figured out why and how he does everything, then nevertheless, if he tells us he's done it, we can trust him. So that's the first question. Does God exist? And when, on this Good Friday, we are nevertheless faced with the sovereignty of God, you might say his competency to save us, when we're faced with his sovereignty and when we are faced with who Jesus was, who Jesus is, then think about what Jesus said to Pilate, that line that I've highlighted in our gospel lesson. Jesus says to Pilate, who could sign his death warrant, "You would have no power over me unless it had been given to you from above." That makes sense only if Jesus is who he said he is. Now, it's perfectly legitimate and fruitful even to study our salvation. That is a subject that is worthy of our time. Spending time understanding God, understanding the workings of God, understanding what God feels towards us and has done on our behalf. This is all worthy of our time. After all, we all need rescue. But sooner or later, we have to move from the questioning to hymning. From curiosity to relationship. From theoretical science to experimental science. From the speculation to the doing. From knowing in the abstract to knowing personally. And so, back to basics. Back to the cross. This is why the Bible and why we say Jesus saves. Whatever questions we may have about that, that's still what the Scripture and what Jesus and all the people who knew him best say. Jesus saves. That he has made us holy through the offering of one body, once and for all. Jesus saves, true or false. That's how we come up with a homeless man. Some of you might have heard it playing in the background earlier today. Homeless man. The composer Gavin Bryars picked up on tape and included in his composition. Jesus' blood never failed me yet. Jesus saves. That's why the church fathers were always writing hymns about Christ as the victor and as the victim. Why Isaac Watts could write a hymn. See from his head, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love flow mingled down. So the bottom line, it's about our holiness, our wholeness, our completion, but also about our standing in our neediness and our brokenness before an absolutely perfect God. Glory be to Jesus. By his will, we have been made holy through the offering of the body of Jesus once for all. Notice that sentence doesn't begin with by his will. He wants you pretty badly. He wants you to be his forever. By his will. Because he wants it that way. We have been made holy through the offering of the body of Jesus once and for all.